For us to welcome a really nice lady, Cheryl Ladd, to Good Day. Good morning, Cheryl. Great to have you here.
Nice to be here.
That was with Stuart Granger, that scene,
Yes.
but it's not bad duty to have love scenes with Lee Horsley, who we know as Matt Houston.
Not bad at all, no.
No. Was it fun doing this?
A lot of fun. The cast is really good and a lot of fun, and we had a terrific director, Caan Arthur, woman director. And that was a new experience for me, having a
There
woman
aren't
director.
that many female directors in Hollywood, are there?
Not a lot. So that was a unique experience.
Is the story good? Is it as good as the novel?
Oh, I think it's a wonderful story. When I got the script, I was so enthralled with the story and very much wanted to play this character.
Yeah. Is there a lot of research that goes into behind what Danielle Steele meant when she was writing all of this, when you're portraying it for camera?
Well, I think you can only play. The problem with doing a novel that is so popular is, of course, when you read it, you have in your imagination who those characters are, and sometimes when they're done, I think, on television, it's not quite the way you saw this character or that, and I think sometimes people see it and they go, oh, I didn't see her that way, or I didn't see him that way. So you're always sort of taking a risk when you do a novel that's so popular, but you can only interpret it the way you interpret it. You know?
Danielle obviously really likes you, or did she have a hand in any way in the casting, because you did another project for her?
Well, we know each other. Yes, I had done Now and Forever, a feature film in Australia.
Yeah, so you like her writing then, obviously.
Very much.
She likes you.
And I like her very much. She's a terrific lady.
Is she? Why?
She has, well, first of all, she's beautiful. She's, I guess, mid-late 30s, and she has 8 children. She has a baby and writes a book every year, so she's quite an inspiration.
A baby and writes a book every year.
I think so.
I love what Lee Horsley said about the love scenes. There's been some press, a fair amount of press on the way that these love scenes take place, that a little is left to the imagination. And Lee had this great line. He said, it really gets me going as soon as I get a handful of face. I mean, are they different? Will we see something different in these?
I think a little different, handled a little differently. I think in the style of what the film is in the 40s. I mean, there's a lot of
nudity. Oh,
not nudity.
Suggestive. Right?
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of grown-up part of the love scenes, but there's also a sensuality to them, I think, that is perhaps different. I mean, there's an entire undressing scene that takes a long time, and it's more sexual tension built, I think, which makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean...
people using their imagination.
Yes.
Okay. You have an interesting background, and I think one that is not altogether uncommon in this business, to grow up in South Dakota. Cheryl Jean Stoppelmoor. And your family were wonderful, but they struggled, didn't they? Your dad was a railroad engineer?
Yes. Yes, and my mother was a homemaker. Both very talented people in their own ways. My father is sort of a 20th century Daniel Boone. He was an outdoorsman and trapper and all of that. My mother was just terribly creative, wallpapers, upholsters furniture. I mean, they built a house themselves together, and they're very just resourceful people, and I had a terrific upbringing. And
yeah, there's a lot to gain, isn't there, from growing up poor but loved?
very, very much so, I think. It gives you the opportunity to enjoy your success, I think, perhaps more, because it was a struggle to get it. And you appreciate a lot of things that you have because you know what it's like not to have them. I've been poor and I've been rich, and rich is better.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that old saying.
Yeah.
But I think you really do appreciate it when you weren't raised that way.
Interesting, too, to read that you were very shy when you were young.
Well, I'm still kind of shy.
I sense that, yeah. But that also, it translates as a lot of humility. But it's painful.
Oh, it's all false.
It's painful to grow up and be shy. I mean, it really is, and to find yourself and then transfer it all into performing.
Well, I think if I hadn't been able to perform, even in high school and even when I was growing up, I think I might have had more problems in my life than I did, because being another character, acting or even performing and singing and all of that, helped me be other people and express my feelings. In having an opportunity to express my feelings that I wouldn't have had, or maybe been able to do just as myself, because I think, let's face it, puberty is like the worst.
Tough.
The worst.
One stage of life I don't want to go back to.
Oh, it's just the worst. I mean, and being an adolescent and being a baby adult and wondering who the hell you are. I mean, it's really tough, and I really feel sorry for kids these days and teenagers, and they have such a rough time of it. And I think those creative expressions that I had when I was a kid really helped me.
When you went to LA, though, just to demystify these great dreams that everybody has, it wasn't easy for you, and you're very open about that. You were kind of naive, and weren't you?
Yes. I think I'm probably still a little naive, but it was a tough town. The streets were not paved with gold. I mean, somehow when you grow up in South Dakota in the blizzards and you watch the Rose Bowl and see California and you think, if I could just get to California, my life will be so wonderful. And it's a tough business, and it's always a struggle, and you do pay your dues. I mean, you do get a lot of rejection, and you work hard and struggle and go to acting class, and you put yourself out there for people to judge you, and it's tough.
It's a hard town to find yourself in when you're young and full of dreams, and I think they really were tough times for you, but you learned a lot from those, didn't you?
Yes, you learn to really believe in yourself because you have to, because there are a lot of people telling you you're not good enough, or you're too tall, too thin, too short, too fat, too old, too young. You're always too something.
Yeah.
And once in a while you get a job if you're lucky. I mean, it takes a lot of luck and a lot of perseverance and a lot of pain.
You started as, was it Melody, Josie and the Pussycats?
Yep.
You hate
I
me
did.
for bringing that
No,
up?
I don't. It was a big breakthrough for me. It was my first job.
Sure,
So,
that matters.
You bet.
But you've gone on, it was kind of, you did a trend-setting video with Fascinated in
Yes.
'83?
It was actually one of the first, a little before its time actually, one of the first full-length whole album videos done, and then it became the thing to do. After that, it was a while ago.
Ever any confusion in the love for singing and the roles that you seem to land in acting, and having enough to do both?
One of the reasons the music has been put on the back burner is because I felt I couldn't do both and give both the attention that they deserved and do them both well. I think it's really tough. And also in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, and in the business, I think people really pigeonhole you, and you confuse them if you do too many things. They are not quite sure, is she an actress, is she a singer, what is she? And the acting sort of went its merry way, and I sort of went along with it, and it sort of pursued that part of my career.
What was it like when you replaced Farrah Fawcett in Charlie's Angels? And I really have to ask you this because there's been press on it that in the beginning it was tough for everybody, and you had to find a way to get on as three women.
Yes.
And how did you manage to make a relationship out of that job with the other two women, with Kate and Jacqueline?
Well, I walked on the set with the T-shirts that said Farrah Fawcett Minor when she was Farrah. So, and people laughed. That helped.
Yeah.
Breaking the ice was tough at first, and I don't know. I just went in and did my job the best I could. And
Any feelings about how women were portrayed in that show, looking back?
well, I think we took a lot of rap. I mean, look, nobody thought we were doing Shakespeare to begin with. It was. I think an advancement, though, in the sense that three women were starring in a network television show and successful. That the show was very successful is very important in the sense that it opens the door for more women to be on television, to have successful shows, to be put in the position to do that. And I always say that, people are always saying, ooh, Charlie's Angels, ooh, sex and violence and all this stuff. I mean, if anybody watched our show, nobody slept with anybody. Nobody ever did anything other than be
That's
like little
interesting.
Girl Scouts. I mean, we
Yeah.
were so square. We had no past lives. We had no, I mean, I thought it should have been we should have been
A little deeper, huh?
Yes.
The role of Grace Kelly, there were interesting things that happened around that role. That meant a lot to you, didn't it? And by the way, I thoroughly enjoyed your interpretation of her life. I thought it was done in a very classy way. There were things that happened, though, that moved you and made you a little nervous about it, I read.
Well, I'd been researching her life for about a year, and actually it was my husband's idea to do Brian Russell, to do the project to begin with. And when he first mentioned it to me, I thought, ooh, tough, I don't know, playing someone that's certainly so well known and living and perceived so clearly in people's minds as whatever. I thought very difficult and challenging. And then I started to do some research about her life and especially her early years, and her struggle to become an actress and to not just be a Kelly. And although our lives were very different in the beginning, the certain struggle that she felt and that career that she pursued was very similar, I think, in many ways to mine. And so of course we became involved. We contacted them, let them know that we were doing the project, and told them that we would like them to be involved with us in the project.
In the beginning, they said no, didn't they?
Well, at first, when the rumors were leaked, of course, how our town is, there are always rumors. Before we were prepared to discuss it with them, before we were prepared to tell them how we were going to pursue the project. And so they were, of course, in a panic, which if I heard somebody was doing my life story, I'd be in a panic too. But once they were contacted and the script was sent to them, then they came on board with us and were working with us. And
but
then, of course,
she died right before, I mean, during the
6 weeks before she died, my husband was at the palace and talking to her in the garden, and then we got the news that she
Which I would
died.
think would have had an extra pressure.
It was so awful. It felt very personal to me because I had certainly researched her life. I'd met her, and you feel like you've lost someone you know very well, although I didn't, of course, know her well. But and then I didn't want to go ahead with the project. I just certainly felt it was not the thing to do, and I just didn't feel I could do it. And then a few months after she died, we were contacted by Renier and his attorneys and said that we had their blessing to go ahead with it, that she had wanted it to be done, and I thought that was very classy of him.
Oh, absolutely. You are a working mother in every sense of the word. Your daughter Jordan will soon be 11, and Lindsay you have a stepdaughter,
9, yes.
is 9. Maybe you don't like the word stepdaughter. She's your daughter. She's
Oh,
there
yes,
with
we
you.
use that term. It's
It's all
yes.
right. How do you do that? I mean, because I have a sense you are very committed to being a mom. You travel a lot. Do the kids go with you?
a lot, yes. My kids are world travelers. They've been to Australia and Europe and all around with me. And I think that's great for them, and they love it, especially now when they're getting older. We took them to England with us, and I was amazed at how excited they were. The first comment was, "This place is so old." They don't have, in Los Angeles especially, where there's a new building put up every 10 minutes and one torn down, they had no perception of the oldness of the country.
People should know
which was
you are
great.
very involved in the issue of child abuse. I don't know if it's because you're a mother, or because you did a made-for-TV that really had great impact when she was bad. But that's an issue we need to talk more about, don't we?
Yes, I work with an organization called Child Help USA, which is a child abuse rehabilitation center, and hotlines, and they're all over the country, and they're just a wonderful program in helping so many children.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. You're terrific. We're looking forward to Crossings, and it's
Thank
a
you.
delight to have a chance to meet you, Cheryl, and I mean that sincerely.
It was my
God
pleasure.
bless you.